Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Purva and today I'm going to integrate Tailwind CSS to my React application project. I'm going to use the official documentation from Tailwind CSS and let's see if that works for us. Okay, I already have one React application project set up for me. I have very basic app.tsx with one route called home.tsx, and if you want to see how it looks when I run it, nothing, just two labels, welcome to React app and home. Like I said, I will integrate Tailwind CSS, we'll solve all the problems that we'll cross. I also happen to have the Webpack set up for the compilation, final build configuration, so we'll also resolve all the problems that we face while we integrate this. Like you can see in the warning above, Create React app does not support custom PostCSS configurations and is incompatible with many important tools in PostCSS ecosystem like PostCSS import. The recommendation from Tailwind CSS is to use White, Parcel, Next.js or Remix instead of React app. Nevertheless, we are still going to do that because I have my app built with Create React application. Let's see what happens. So first it asks me to create a React application. I already have that. We should install the Tailwind CSS and then we should create some configuration files. Tailwind.config.js, index.css should have these three Tailwind configuration set. Tailwind, they should call Tailwind directives, and then ideally it should work. Let's see. So go back to the terminal, we install the Tailwind CSS. This is done. Let's try Tailwind CSS init. That means it creates tailwind.config.js for us. Let's go back to vscode and open this tailwind config.js. This is the default configuration for Tailwind. Like you can see, next thing that the documentation asks is to add the content. So I'm going to just copy this from here and replace the current content in our Tailwind config.js file. That simply means that this should take into consideration all the JS, JSX, TS or TSX files that are in my SRC folder. If you have your files scattered somewhere else, you need to add the file paths over here. Okay, next is asks us to add these Tailwind directives to index.css file. Let's copy it and open index.css. We'll just add this to the top. Once you copy these directives into your index.css file, and this is your first time installing Tailwind or any postcss loader, in the VS Code you will see the warnings like this: unknown at rule at Tailwind CSS. To resolve this in VS Code, you will need an extension which is called postcss language support. I've already installed it earlier, disabled it just to show you that warning. I'm going to enable it and then we'll see these warnings are gone. Thing is to check if the installation, the configuration, everything else is working fine. So go back to your terminal, restart your npm. Once this is done successfully, go back to your local host and we're going to just reload. Let's see if there are any errors in console. No errors, everything is just working fine. Okay, now we will go back to the documentation and we'll try some styling. I'm going to simply copy this and paste it in my home.tsx. Let's see if this works. There's nothing but just a header, hello world, with these stylings. So there should be font which is bold and underlined with this size. I saved it. I'm gonna restart my server just to make sure everything is fine, and we go back to our React application. This works perfect. Okay, let's try a couple of other things and see if that works. I am going to simply add a button and we are going to use some styling in that button. Let's say we want to add a color Indigo 500, and yeah, that's it. The button will call click me. Okay, I saved it. Let's go back. We see a button click me, but there is no color, background color. Why is that so? Because like it said previously, it doesn't work very appropriately with Create React app. We need to install some PostCSS loader for this to work. For Tailwind to work, we need few other dependencies in our project, one of which is postcss. Then we need postcss-loader. This is something that we need for Webpack. And last but not the least, we also need Autoprefixer. Let's quickly install them. First thing that you're going to do is create a postcss file, which will be called postcss.config.ts. In my case, if you don't have TypeScript, you should use JavaScript, so .js. Here I'm going to import the Tailwind CSS quickly. You know the syntax, const Tailwind CSS, then we require this library here. We will export some plugins very quickly. So module.exports, and then let's add the plugins over here, which is called Tailwind CSS. That's it for this one. Just got imported as a side effect, but we don't need it, so I removed that. Just require Tailwind CSS, add Tailwind CSS as plugin over here, and we've exported this. Last change we are going to make is in our Webpack config file. Here, in addition to style loader, CSS loader, we will need postcss loader. Okay, I think that's it. Let's go back to our website and see if it works. So you can see click me. It is very ugly, just adding a background color to the button. But meanwhile, I also added a click me, click works log event when you click on the button, and this definitely works. Just a quick recap. What all we do need for configuring Tailwind CSS with a React application and with Webpack as the compilation bundle compilation tool. You will need certain dependencies, first of which is of course Tailwind CSS, so we install that. We need Autoprefixer as dev dependency. We need postcss, and we need postcss loader. Once all these 4 dependencies are installed, we will need to create a postcss config.ts where we export Tailwind CSS plugin in the module.exports code. Last, we go to Webpack config file and we add postcss loader as a rule in the CSS. Now you might have noticed that we installed Autoprefixer, but we didn't really use it. It is not actually needed. If you want to skip it, that's completely fine. However, this is a postcss plugin to parse CSS and add vendor prefixes to CSS rules. So basically, if you write your CSS rules like this without vendor prefixes, it automatically will use the data based on your current process popularity and then apply the prefixes for you. This is recommended by Google and used in Twitter and Alibaba, so I will also recommend that. Let's add this. You will not see a change over here in this video because we are not going to actually use very typical example of CSS in this video, but you will see it when you use in the real project. So just for the sake of clarity that this is something that you might need, I'm going to use Autoprefixer over here. I've already installed it, and what we need to do is just add it as a plugin in postcss config.ts file. So let's go back, restart our server, and see. So like I said, you won't see any change today in this video, but just to show you that it works and nothing breaks because you add Autoprefixer in the plugins file. That's it for today's video. I'll come back with something else in the next one. Keep watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.